Hey everyone, Boozer here. Welcome back for another video. So in today's video, I just want to highlight something that I feel is probably a first ever for a free-to-play player. Definitely the first time I've ever seen it myself, and the first time I've ever even heard about it. So I'm going to give you guys 3 seconds to figure out what it could be. Well, you guys probably figured it out if you guys reached this video, but I reached 1 billion silver right here. 1 billion silver this CVC. And I feel like this is an accomplishment that not many people have as a free-to-play player. I've seen lots of big players, endgame players have over 1 billion before, even capped silver, where it cannot increase anymore. I believe there is some kind of graphical bug that shows the figure around maybe 1.8 and it cannot move anymore, but you have more than that. I think Murder Inc. had some level of currency at that rate. But for me personally, I've never seen any free-to-play player reach 1 billion silver. And I mean, it's not like I purposely went out to go get a billion silver. I, obviously invest a lot of silver into my account. Like as you can see, like all my gear is all rolled up, at least 12 on this account, and I have lots of champions as well, right? So I mean, I just wanted to highlight that I achieved it. Kind of, not really going for it, but I feel like there's certain things that I do that kind of helped build it. I have been playing the game for about 2 years and 2 months, so about 26 months on this account. So 26 months, I built up 1 billion silver. I just want to offer some, some strategies, I guess. I started this CVC. CVC is still ongoing right now, but I started this CVC at 946 million. I made about 16 million just crafting my resources from the forge, so that's like just 16 million easy silver, and the rest of it I got from basically doing a gear cleanse and then basically running dungeons. There was a triple savage fire night event, so all that silver was generated basically just today in one day, so about 60 million in one day, or 55 million one day. I've yet to spend too much of it, so I'm getting ready to spend. That's why I want to make this video first. But I have no doubt I'll be back here pretty soon. Yeah, so I just want to offer maybe just a couple tips on how you guys can maybe improve your silver accumulation, I guess. First of all, obviously the forge is a huge generator of silver. I probably crafted about 250 items roughly, and that nets about 16 million silver. So if you just do your faction wars every 2 weeks, you're gonna get like 15 million silver just from the forge, basically, right? So I'm pretty low on resources mats right now. Like I can craft 154 guardian gear, but most of the mats are pretty much used up. Usually it's going to be perception and resilience that you're going to use up first. I can craft these ones. They're not worth much. But these are also hard to get and they're not worth as much. But then you want to craft these ones, right? So yeah, the forge is a big one. The other one, obviously grinding dungeons. You have to do a certain level of grinding. You can't expect to generate silver without grinding dungeons. And then obviously gear cleansing is like smaller, less common ways of making silver, but obviously you can generate a little bit of silver that way. Generally just being efficient using your silver. For example, you don't want to be juggling gear too often between champions. For example, if I want to equip this, it's going to be 100k. So if I want to strip one champion, that's 600k. If I want to strip a champion and then replace it with the gear from another champion, that's 1.2 million silver. And you can do that very easily. So I guess my advice would be basically take a little bit extra time to formulate a plan with your characters and gear before you commit to spending the silver. So the last thing you want to do is basically change the person's gear 3 times before you're happy with it. So you don't want to do that because that stuff kind of adds up, right? Just think about like each piece of gear that you're swapping is basically like one spider run. Like it's kind of significant, right? So you have to be careful with that. So personally, I don't switch my gear too often because I take a lot of time in setting the best build possible, I guess, for the champion. And I'll revisit the gear and the builds maybe every month, but then usually it's still the best build that I have, and I'm happy with it anyways. So I just leave it as is. But I definitely reevaluate each champion quite often, especially the ones that I use seriously, especially for arena. So yeah, and then obviously I spend a lot of silver just leveling gear too. So that's you know that's another thing, right? It's like you're gonna have silver to level up your gear so that your champions are properly geared up. So it's gonna be harder in the beginning when you're early, but it's just as a general thing, just be extra mindful when you're gearing your champions to not basically spend silver frivolously, right? Okay. So another thing is, so the forge dungeons, don't spend frivolously. Um, what else can you do? I mean, that's about it. I mean, I do everything. I do everything in this game. I keep myself not energy capped, so I probably, even though I don't spend too much gems on a regular basis, I probably get a lot of value just by keeping my energy uncapped. So you might think stocking energy for fusion might be the most beneficial use of the energy. So for example, if you like waited a week and stocked up like 5,000 energy going into a fusion, right? Whereas I'm using my energy every day um, going into a fusion, I have nothing. So in that week, I would have been able to basically level up a bunch of food and all that stuff, ready to go for the fusion. Whereas you have 5,000 energy. It's it's not like exactly like that, but I feel like by using the regeneration, the free energy, it actually obviously makes up for a lot of extra resources over time. So I don't know if that's like mathematically if it's correct over somebody that like just hoards energy, but I feel like because you're missing the passive regen, it actually accumulates to quite a bit per day. I believe the accumulation is 24 hours, so 480 energy per day that you're giving up if you're energy capped. I know nobody's perfect at fully uncapping your energy, but that's a lot of energy. So 10 days, that's 480 energy. That's like two events. That's two events in a fusion that you could have had, kind of prep for in advance. Like even if you're just making chickens for training or what have you, right? But it's a different strategy. But I feel like by always staying uncapped on the regeneration, you actually slowly accumulate a lot of energy, resources, like including silver, obviously, because you're putting that energy to use. But that's kind of like my own thought about it. But I think like that's maybe one of the big reasons for my success too, at least in accumulating silver. And yeah, I mean that's about it. I mean, I'm just very efficient with the energy. I'm very efficient with the crafting. I always do Faction War 21. So if you guys didn't know, Faction War 21 and Faction War 20, they have the same drop chance for glyphs, but 21 gives you more materials. So obviously you need materials to do crafting, so that's very important. So yeah, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Make sure you guys are on top of your faction wars. Yeah, so I do some of that right now. I gotta get rid of some of these 2-star ones. Even the 2-star ones I do. So, but yeah, I hope you guys maybe picked up a little bit of something from this video. But mainly, I just wanted to show that what is possible as a free-to-play player. I mean, 1 billion silver, right? So, and I've never had problems with silver for like the longest time, and it is just a amount that just kept growing and growing over time. And I play this game super actively, so I've never had issues with silver. All right. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's a bit of a quick one. Gonna be popping off to do the CVC, and yeah, we'll have a lot more content coming up. So I'll see you guys in the next one.